Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to start with the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. You're going to get my financial opinions. And if you need any help with anything, definitely check out the finding-value.com. We've got a platinum question and answer session coming up at Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I got a lot of information on there about stocks, about cycles, about all sorts of different things. And you can learn a lot. And hopefully, we've got a lot of picks out there as well to share, and you can choose if they're good for you or not. And you can also see my portfolio. So let's dive in. Let's see what's going on. We got the DXY behind me. That's generally where I start. We are still continuing to move a little bit higher in the DXY. And if we take kind of a bigger picture view, I know there's a lot going on here. We have this long-term support level, that white line going across here. We have bounced off that support level and are heading higher on a longer, bigger picture view. And we are continuing up. It looks like that uptrend is still intact. Looking at the 10-year yield, slightly lower. This is a bearish engulfing pattern where we could head a little bit lower in the short term. So yields could drop down on us a little bit. That generally provides a tailwind behind stocks and some of the commodities, but a tailwind behind the overall markets, kind of in general speaking. The 30-year yield also dropping a little bit. It's not a reversal candlestick, but we could be doing a return move back to this level down here somewhere. Looking at the bond prices heading a little bit higher today. This is a bullish engulfing back here, and we could see a broken downtrend and break up to the upside in the short term. TYX to TNX ratio, this is just indicating that the curve is still inverting some. So the curve is still inverting as we go down. What that means is precious metals do not like an inverting yield curve. They usually like it when it's flat or uninverting or normalizing for the most part. CRB index up a little bit today. We did see strength in energy today, oil and natural gas. So maybe we can see this thing try to bottom out and turn. Along with oil. We'll see if oil bottoms. CRB to S&P 500, slightly lower. We're still in this channel going lower, where the S&P 500 is outperforming commodities in this pullback. Gold, slightly lower today. Are we going to bottom at some point here shortly? We'll have to wait and see what the trading action is over the tomorrow and the next week. We still have some downward momentum. That is pretty obvious, but the candlesticks are pretty small over here. So I don't think there's a ton of selling pressure. I do think we're probably reaching somewhere close to, hopefully, a bottom in precious metals in the short term. But again, it hasn't done it yet. Silver also selling off a little bit. This does have a little bit more oomph behind this one than gold. So it does look like that is still in play for a pullback. We've got lots of selling pressure here. The sellers are still there. They're still kicking, and they're still selling. So we might see a further downside. Platinum, again, platinum, this one looks a little bit more, it still looks pretty much bearish to go lower. We've got selling pressure in these two candlestick days, and it took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 5 or 6 days to come back to its top. That means that the sellers are in, we'll say, in control. We could see this sell off further, and there's more momentum to the downside than there is to the upside. Generally, when you see in bottoms, you'll see big, gigantic green candlesticks that come. I call it the green army. It looks very similar to what we see in this area here. And then you see small selling pressure come back, bigger buying pressure. It's all through that section there. But over here, we see strong selling pressure and smaller buying pressure. So that indicates to me that we could sell off further to the downside and that this sell-off isn't necessarily done yet. And I hope it's not, because I want to buy more platinum in the portfolio. physical, that is. XAU to gold ratio, this is also another indicator if that is done, and I still think this has further to fall. I don't see any reversal candlesticks yet. We kind of squeezed up here, broke to the downside, and I don't see any reversal movements yet. So I still think we're going to head lower. GDX still selling off a little bit, underperforming the metal itself. And then we've got SILJ also selling off. I don't see any reversal candlesticks yet. I don't see even any bounces yet. So I'm going to go with the trend and say that we are going to continue to go lower until I see evidence of a move or a pivot point to the upside. Crude oil up 2.15%. This is doing, my humps here. Hump 1, hump 2, hump 3. And that isn't the 3 humps. This isn't like the normal consolidation periods. But we do have Fergie with my humps here. Here it is. My hump, my hump, my hump. We had a nice, good, strong day today, up 2.15%. Natural gas also looking good. I am curious, is this a Livermore cylinder? I don't know. I don't need to go all. Let me go to 5-year here. Is this the Livermore cylinder here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you usually get some sort of, hump like that, or maybe we get another hump. It's hard to tell. And then we're going to rock it on higher. I'm a bull on crude oil in the medium to long term, even late 2023. I just don't know if we're going to have one little dip out of here or not. If we do, it's going to give us one good buying opportunity. Natural gas up 8% today. This does look like we're getting a little bit of that's a hammer candlestick there. Let me go into the dailies here. There's what it looks like on the dailies. Nice, strong day today. Up 8% and finishing strong. I like it down here, guys. I do. Even if it bounces around a little while, it doesn't matter to me. I like it down here. That's natural gas. Now, XOP, yeah, you know me. Up 3%, and we're bouncing off that support level. That's that support line in there coming on up. We are squeezing into this thing. We might have some more consolidation, maybe a couple more months, 1 month, 2 months, whatever it is. I'm not as concerned with how long it takes, because the longer it takes, the more I can load up on my favorite companies. And believe me, I'm going to load up on my favorite companies when they're down. That's how you make money. You got to buy stuff when it's down, hold on when it goes up. But XOP is bouncing off that support level. It is heading higher. Looks all right. Let's see if crude oil follows through. And I think XOP will follow what crude oil does. OIH, getting a little bit of a bounce here. I'm not, this doesn't look that strong. We've got some pretty strong selling pressure, these 3 candlesticks here. And we've also got large selling candlesticks throughout here. So, the way that this thing has fallen, the way that this thing is behaving, makes me think that we'll go sideways or slightly lower in the short term. We've even got some signals here of some selling pressure back here. So, yeah, we didn't break higher. We're at support. And this looks fantastic from a long-term big picture view, but we might see some more volatility in the short term. Think of it as, maybe I'll throw like a trend line through here, and then the blue line's a resistance line. So there is a possibility that we come back down, here or something like that before heading higher. And I hope we do. I am a bull, but these short-term pullbacks provide entry points for investors. So again, I win if it goes down, I win if it goes up. That's the way that I view it and the way that I kind of look at things. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, it was up a little bit today. This is an inverted, I call it an inverted bloody nose. It could head a little bit lower in the short term for Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We are making higher lows, and maybe it puts in a low somewhere. I don't know where, but a higher low, and then we continue to squeeze in this gigantic pattern. And really what it is, it's one gigantic pattern squeezing to this corner over here. URINM, a little bit more buying pressure today, up 2%. That's always good to see. Let's go to the daily candlesticks. And there it is. We're bouncing off this support level. We went up a little bit. I think we've got some sideways to slightly higher action before breaking out of this. That is a bloody nose. but kind of. This is a down day and it's a small up day. It's not a bloody nose. I take that back because that's a green candlestick with a small down day. This isn't a green candlestick, it's a red candlestick. But I do think we're going to chop around a little bit on this support line. Tan up a little bit. We're right on that support line as well, and we are squeezing for tan. There it is, squeezing on up. Higher lows and lower highs. We've got COPX. This does look like to me that we could see further downside in the short term. We've got bearish engulfing, bearish piercing, bearish engulfing, and we're getting a little bit more of a bearish engulfing today. So it does look like we could head a little bit lower in the short term. I'm just trying to see if this is like a shoulder, head, shoulder. To me, I think we're gonna still head higher. We're just gonna go down a little bit in the short term. What we're gonna get, in my opinion, is probably a retracement down to this support level of $33.50. That's what I think we're gonna do. LIT, right on support. We'll see if that support level holds. And we're right on support there. REMX, slightly higher today. There is a big long support level coming across that we are basically at. And that's the support level that goes across everything. The big boy. This will break higher with time, I think. We're just consolidating above it. And then we'll go into an uptrend. Like this is a downtrend. We're going to go into the opposite thing to an uptrend that looks like that. SPX, slightly higher today. You know, we had lower yields, flat dollar. That generally does okay for the overall stock market. But this still, doesn't look good, doesn't look bad, just kind of looks Got support underneath us. NASDAQ moving sideways. You know, I don't really see too much here. It's not really a bottoming pattern. It's not really a topping pattern. It's not really a continuation pattern. Who knows what that is? In the short term, we'll see what happens. We've got support right underneath us down here. We also have support going across in this general area right where we're at. So it's probably going to sit here on support and then break its way on higher here. EEM up 0.5%. This does like the weaker dollar, even though we had just a slightly stronger dollar today. But yields were down. We can see there's a support line going across here. It's right on support, and it's holding. XHB, the home builders, slightly higher, liking the little bit weaker yields. Right above support, everything looks good for a move higher. Moo up 1%. We are squeezing on up in the corner here, and hopefully we can get a break to the upside for the agribusiness ETF. Copper slightly lower. COPX also looked a little bit more on the bearish side in the short term, so I do think we could see short-term selling pressure in copper. Lumber still trying to find a bottom. Has not found its bottom yet, down 0.66%. Let's get some loading lumber. There we go. It does look like it's trying to put in a bottom. You can see the opening and closing prices are getting smaller and smaller. It's losing momentum, and we're going to bottom somewhere in this general vicinity above support after a breakout, which means we are going to go higher. Now, big picture view, what this is probably doing is a Livermore cylinder. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it puts in this pattern here, and then it goes and launches higher. We could be putting in monster patterns, guys, where lumber and all these different commodities are about to launch to the upside. Because oil's putting in that same pattern, uranium's putting in the same pattern, they all are. So perhaps we're at the beginning of what could be a launch here in a couple, a month or two. Iron ore, this is one that just doesn't seem to work. I'm just going to skip it. Nickel up 0.09%, just scrapping sideways there. Aluminum slightly lower. I do think aluminum's going to have its time in the sun very soon. It's just going to grind sideways. The deficits become very apparent in late 2023, early 2024. Baltic Dry Index. This is what I consider to be the slingshot cheetah pattern, where you get a falling wedge. I think there's support under here because this is really low. You got support going across here too that you could draw across. And this is going to work its way on higher. The companies are already starting to take off. Good thing we were talking about the Baltic Dry Index and the shipping companies last platinum question and answer session. So we did talk about that. Newcastle coal futures, this did sell off following the rampant sell-off of natural gas. But I do think this will bottom. This could be a Livermore accumulation cylinder, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then some bottom somewhere, just like natural gas is putting in. They're all putting it in. It's kind of weird. And then Ethereum, you know, I'm wondering if this is one too, like a gigantic one. Let me look at Bitcoin real quick here, guys. You know, yeah, I don't know if we have enough data here on BTC here, but maybe this is putting in one. Maybe it comes all the way back, and then this is actually a accumulation cylinder on a big picture view, which would be crazy if it were to do that. But we were down slightly, basically flat today for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Small selling pressure days, doesn't look too bad. I think it's going to hold up quite well. I don't see any strong selling pressure, at least not yet. But yeah, that's what we've got for today, guys. And I'm still a bull in commodities. I love oil, big energy bull on a longer term time frame. And when I mean longer term, it's probably not even that long. I'm a bull late 2023. I think that we're going to have a weaker first quarter here. We're going to kind of move all around. And then, baby, it's going to be game on, because I think we're going to hit short. The market's going to squeeze, which squeezing means higher prices. In the short term here, though, this is kind of the weaker portion of the year, February, March, April timeframe. So I'm looking at this as an accumulation period. I'm looking for bottoms in my favorite companies, and I'm going to accumulate. I'm just going to hold on and ride through it. So that's what I've got for today. If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and subscribe to the website. I've got training sessions on there on technical analysis. I think for this weekend, I might go over maybe a company or two's presentation. We can go through it together, and I'll show you what I look for and why I think the company I'll go over looks dang good. It is one of my larger holdings. I'll just say that. But yeah, we'll do that this weekend, and then bring your questions, and we'll answer a bunch of questions. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.